I'm pretty good with the basics when it comes to tracking my expenses and laying out my paycheck budget every single pay period. But I will say I tend to get frustrated, and when I really want to be, I can be very good at making my budget as absolutely minimal and tight as possible, especially if there is a very specific, clear goal that I'm trying to meet. Having said all of that, I have to add that I find that it's getting harder for me to do that. So if I have to be on an absolute penny pinching, truly tight budget, I find that mentally I'm able to maintain that for like 6 to 8 months. After that, I need a month or two where it's just not as tight. I feel like mentally I just need this occasional break where I'm able to spend a little bit more on fun money or outings or whatever. And here lately, that feeling has just intensified because as rewarding as frugal living can be for your future, I think the problem for me is that's always what it is. It's always about the future. It's always about if I save now, I'll have more later. If I deny myself now, I'm setting myself up for success in the future. I think part of the reason I feel this way is because there have been so many moments where I've had an emergency and it took exactly what I had in my emergency fund or more. So I've gone through several periods in time where it's like, what's even the point of saving? What's even the point of setting anything aside? And I hate to be negative like that, but seriously, why am I sacrificing so I can put more in my savings if the savings isn't going to be enough to save me? And I feel like I'm at a point where I've kind of let go of that bitterness a little bit, but I just get frustrated at the thought of having to live a frugal lifestyle. Now, in my case, what I make is fair for what I do. I'm not underpaid by any means, but my expenses are a little bit high for what I make, and I'm having trouble getting them lowered. And I am getting tired of every single paycheck budget having to go, where can I cut? Where can I deny myself more? I want to do this fun thing. Guess I won't go do it. And it's not just about the self-gratification of being able to spend more money shopping or being able to go out more. It's really come down to I don't want to live a frugal lifestyle anymore. I really want to live more of an elevated lifestyle. That's just the point that I'm at. I just feel like so much of my adult life has been about either making mistakes and learning from it the hard way, or holding on to every penny so tightly so that I don't make a mistake, so that, things don't fall off track. And I'm sorry, but you get tired of it after a while. I mentioned a few videos back how I went through a decluttering journey and it kind of changed my life. And I have enough stuff now that I can kind of go through that same process again. And one thing I'm realizing about myself is I can do with way less stuff, but I want the stuff that I do have to be nicer. Take furniture, for example. What I'm using right now for a nightstand, it looked cute enough. There's a few things I don't like about the design, but it was just this really cheap solution and I felt like it would work. That's why I bought it. I want to say it was like $15. But I would love something like a nice nightstand. The type of nightstand that I would actually want, if I wanted to go ahead and replace that, would be in the $80 to $130 range. I just can't justify spending that kind of money on something like a nightstand. And as much as I value saving money and as much as I value trying to be frugal as possible, it is frustrating after a while when it feels like that's all that you're doing. I want a nicer nightstand. I want an actual couch. I want an actual dresser and a vanity in my bedroom. There's also a bookshelf that I'd like to replace. I really went through and did that and picked out these high quality, nice items. Like I could spend like $1,200. But because I've always tried to be frugal, I've always gone with the, Walmart mainstay items where you buy it in a box and you put it together at home. And some of it doesn't even fit together right because they're just cheap pieces. Some of them look okay, but most of them really don't look that good. But it's just kind of what you're doing and what you're going with because you don't have a lot of money to spend. And it's like, well, this at least serves the purpose. And I am so frustrated with having to live like that. I don't want to live that way anymore. I want to live a more elevated lifestyle. And I'm trying to find a way to make that work with a frugal lifestyle. I care more about things like how my house looks or how I look. Those things used to just not be that important to me. And the problem is spending money on this kind of things that could improve those areas just feels so wasteful. And I hate that I'm at a point in life where I feel like I have no choice but to deny the things that I actually want to be a part of my lifestyle. I have considered doing something like taking a part-time job. I am considering a few other things I could do to bring in some additional income. I think it's time to just sit down and think about those options. Because in addition of wanting to just clean up my space and get some nicer things in here, I still don't have my emergency fund where it needs to be. I have not even started on saving for a down payment for a house. I still have a couple of collections accounts to take care of, and I still have a car note to take care of. So even if I were to sit down and look at the things that I want and plan my purchases over the course of the next 6 to 8 months and really think these things through, it's like all of that money is stuff that I could be putting towards these other things. So it's like, even if I am able to find a way to make this work over the course of the next several months, there's still like this guilt that's associated with it. And I think that's the part that I really hate about it. I don't mind most of my paycheck budgets being the type of budget where it's like, okay, I got to be really tight with this, or this isn't going to work. I got to be really careful with how I spend my money this time, or something bad's going to happen. I can deal with that feeling on occasion, but I can't deal with that feeling all the time. I can't deal with that feeling to the point where it's like, I can't take care of things that I want to take care of. I can't have the things that I want to have. Do you ever just miss the 90s? Because I remember when I was probably like preteen years, and really did start to think about money in the sense of like, okay, what level do I have to be at as an adult to make it in life and be secure and live comfortably and have what I want? And listening to a bunch of the adults around me at the time, I came to the conclusion that a $40,000 salary was what I needed. That if I could get to a point where I made $40,000 a year, I would basically be set for life. Not only would I be able to pay for everything that I needed, I would be able to pay for some of these things that I want to actually have the lifestyle that I want to have. I did not account for inflation or just the rising costs of anything. I miss the days where I thought $40,000 a year would be enough for anything, because it's not. If I made $40,000 a year, I don't know if I'd be able to even afford this apartment. I'd probably still have to be renting a room. So another thing that's been on my mind is like, what's the ideal circumstance going forward? If you're not happy with your circumstance now, what you need to think about is, okay, what's the circumstance that's going to improve my situation and make me feel more content? So it's like, okay, once I take care of the emergency fund and the car note, and I want to look at buying a house and things of that nature, like, what do I actually need? And it's like, it feels like such a high number. It feels like I couldn't have the lifestyle I want unless I'm making like $150,000 a year. First of all, life just isn't that simple. I don't think it's realistic to sit down when you're 12 years old and go, okay, if I can make X amount for my entire adult life, I'll be good. But wouldn't it be nice if that was realistic? Wouldn't it be nice if you could just pick a salary amount and be like, you know what, if I can get to that point and stay there for the rest of my life, not only will I be good on everything I need, I'll be able to have the actual lifestyle that I want. So anyways, ironically, my next video is probably going to be some tips on frugal living. I'm not saying that I'm giving up on saving money. I'm not saying that I'm giving up on frugal living, but I just feel like if you want to solve your problems, not just financially, but also any problems in your life, you need to be realistic about where you're coming from. And this is just a realistic take. I get tired of the fact that trying to live a frugal lifestyle prevents me from living the elevated lifestyle that I actually want. That's it. Really, this video could have been just that one sentence. Yes, I'm going to continue tracking my expenses. Yes, I'm going to continue budgeting every single paycheck. Yes, I'm going to continue to look at ways I can improve my process. But for me at this point, the goal, the dream is to have enough security that every once in a while, I don't have to think about a paycheck budget as deeply. I don't have to think about checking in with a goal every single day. I know they say money can't buy happiness, but I'm sorry. Money can buy you peace of mind and security. And to me, those things equal a certain level of happiness. Doesn't account for all happiness you could possibly have as a person, but that accounts for a large portion of what I would need to be happy. So I'm still motivated to stay on the path that I'm on and keep doing the things that I'm doing. But I just, in the back of my mind, can't help thinking that I'm not going to reach that point where it pays off and I see the fruits of my labor and I see the results of all these efforts and these sacrifices. I just hope that in the end, the sacrifices are all worth it.